Hi everyone, my name is Ayana. Welcome to Lupus Can't Stop, Won't Stop, because this one right here can't stop, won't stop, living her life, and that's what it's about, people. Alright, so the topic of today is sepsis. Alright, so my story about that is I have lupus nephritis, okay? And so lupus nephritis is a type of lupus that affects your kidneys. Last year I had a kidney biopsy, and it was determined that that is what my lupus was targeting, my kidneys. And so I was put on a treatment for lupus nephritis, and the treatment involved me taking CellCept. And so CellCept, or mycophenolate, is a medication that lowers your immune system. And so I take 1,500 milligrams twice a day, along with prednisone, which is a what the hell is that thing called? Another symptom of lupus is memory loss for me. But prednisone, a steroid. Okay, so prednisone and gabapentin and lisinopril and Bayer aspirin and a bunch of other shit that I take to keep me alive. So I take CellCept to keep my immune system low, to try to keep my lupus as inactive as it possibly can be. And so I take CellCept, and it keeps my immune system low, which in turn keeps me very susceptible to germs and bacteria and all kinds of stuff. So when I was put on this medication, the first thing they told me is to be careful in the sun, because it higher your risk of skin cancer. So when you get put on a medication, they give you all these side effects and all these risks. But when somebody tell you some shit like cancer, you hear something like that, that's the only thing you hear. You don't hear nothing else about make sure you know, stay away from this or that. You hear cancer, that's all you hearing. So that's what I hear, that's what I heard, that's what I was afraid of. And so that's all I worried about. And I stayed slathering on sunscreen everywhere. I stayed in the shade. You know, I kept me an umbrella. I had a sun hat. You know, I was doing all kind of things that, you know, I mean, it might sound bad that, you know, I got good melanin on right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm covered in all this chocolateness. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I didn't do that before. But when I started taking this medication, I made sure I kept the sunscreen with me at all times. And so that's what my focus was. Now, time went on, and a little bit about myself. I like food. I love food. You know what I'm saying? I love dives. I love restaurants. I love 5-star. I love, you know, I love steak. You know, I love pork, I love chicken, I love greens, I love it all. So every chance I get, if I see a little spot, I might stop and I might dab in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating me something somewhere. If it's smelling good, I'm gonna try it. So that's what I did when I went on a little road trip. So I stopped at a little restaurant next to a little gas station in LA. And I got me some tacos. Now, I'm a California baby. And so I love me that Mexican food with that cheese and the beans and the sour cream. So I got me some tacos and I ate it up. I mean, I ate it up and it was good. And so a couple of weeks went by and I had diarrhea. Now, I've been traveling for a while. And I didn't notice that I had diarrhea for a long time. A long time. And so I was just taking like Pepto-Bismol, eating bread and crackers or whatever. I wasn't thinking about it. But when you have a disease like lupus, you have to be careful with this stuff. But I wasn't thinking about that. I'm young. I'm 29. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm eating, I'm out, I'm traveling, I'm doing my thing, you know, out here kicking it with my friend. Going to the trap art show here in Oakland at the time. You know, she did this beautiful painting. Isn't she gorgeous? She's fabulous, Ariel Jackson. And so I was traveling out here to Cali to support my cousin. And so I wasn't thinking. So I ended up having to go to the hospital and get checked out because my mom, she was like, man, you know, you've been having this problem for a little bit too long. How long have you been, you know, having diarrhea like this? And I'm just like, I don't know, it's been maybe like a week or so. And so I actually sat down one night and I counted on the calendar, and it ended up being like 20 something days. I think it was 22 days at the time. And I'm like, damn, that's a long ass time. I should probably, you know, go ahead and get checked out. So I went ahead and used them good old VA benefits and went to the hospital and got checked out. They did that little stool culture and checked me out. They was like, nothing was wrong. I probably just, you know, had a little bug or whatever. My bestie was like, you know, maybe it was just that, you know. And so I just chucked it up at that, you know. My Grammy was like, you know, drink some flour and water. And I was like, okay. So I was doing that. And so I thought, you know, maybe that would check it. And it didn't. And so a couple of days later, about a week later, I would say, the hospital ended up calling me back and said that the culture came back something, and they prescribed me antibiotics. Long story short, well, long story, right? They gave me the antibiotics. I ended up taking the antibiotics, and the antibiotics ended up making me extremely sick. I ended up shaking. My eyes turned bloodshot ass red, and I ended up throwing up and more diarrhea, like super shits. And I ended up having to go to the ER like the same, like 5 minutes after I took those pills. And so I was admitted into the hospital, and turns out that I had sepsis. And so sepsis, from what it was explained to me, is an infection, a blood infection. And I was very, very, very close going into septic shock, and it could have killed me. Everything was all fucking haywire. Everything was low. Potassium was low. Magnesium was low. My blood was toxic. Everything was just downhill. Very, very, very bad. And so to make things so you guys can understand how severe and how bad things can get for those with lupus, and how sensitive you can, or how sensitive your immune system is with lupus already. But if you're taking this medication, the CellCept/mycophenolate, you have to be extremely careful. Now, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and so I was very, very concerned when they told me that I was sick, and I had this infection. Of course, the first question I asked is like, is this contagious? Can my baby catch this shit? And so the doctor straight up told me, he was like, no. Does your daughter have lupus? I said, no, she's perfectly healthy. You know, she's fine. She has no type of diseases, no sickness, nothing. He was like, well, her immune system is 10 times stronger than yours. She could have eaten the exact same thing that you ate, and her body would have been able to fight it off just fine. And I immediately started bawling my fucking eyes out, because that's how weak my immune system is compared to my 3-year-old child. And so immediately after that, it just put things even more into perspective as to how serious this condition is, how serious and how much more careful I have to be, because I could have lost my life if I would have waited a few more days over a fucking taco. I mean, the taco was good. It was so good. It didn't taste bad. I mean, she hooked it up. But it could have just been sitting out a little bit long. She could have not washed her hands. She could have been digging at her nose. She could have been doing whatever. It could have been, who knows what she could have been doing back there behind that counter. She could have sneezed or whatever. And it was just that simple for me. So I just wanted to share that story with you guys. I'm okay now. It took a very long time for me to get things in order. I was in the ICU for a few days. They were very, very concerned with me. I could not walk. I could not walk to the bathroom when I was in the hospital. I could not bend my legs. And a lot of my family doesn't even know. A lot of people still don't know that I was in a hospital. I can probably count on one hand of people who knew that I was in the hospital to this day. Because that's the type of shit that we do, the lupus people do, because we get tired of feeling so vulnerable and so weak and so you know, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling weak, and I'm feeling sore, and I'm just not feeling good today. So we just don't say nothing, or we just keep it to ourselves, because it happens so often. So that is the motivation for this channel for me. My sepsis story, it just made me wake up and say, I have to share these type of things with people, with the world, because not enough is being said. And so I am feeling great today, you guys, and I just wanted to share that. And I will be continuing to share these type of things with you, and hopefully it just inspires other people to share these things with their family and with their friends, and to live life, because life is short. You know, I almost lost mine over a damn taco, and I mean, it wasn't worth it. It was a good ass taco, but it wasn't worth it. And now I have to read the side effects on all the medication that they give me, because it's not just about the cancer that I could have contracted over, the sun. It's about me getting an infection over a damn taco. So, hey y'all, just be safe out there, lupus community, and just be wise and wash them damn hands, and be asking questions when you out there eating your food, and don't feel like you have to be poised when it comes to this type of shit, because your life matters, and you got people that love you and want you here. So be smart and wash your hands and keep it clean and live life, So I'm Iyanna, and this is Lupus Can't Stop, Won't Stop. And I hope to see you guys again, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little story here, and let's dance it out right fast.